Hello everyone, I'm Mark from Radishes Farm, and as you can see today we're in the greenhouse. We're going to plant green onions, radishes, different kinds of lettuce and greens, and I'm going to show you how we do it in the wintertime in southern Illinois. If you have a greenhouse and don't want to plant in the ground, which we've got rock and concrete everywhere in here, we just plant in trays. So I have pre-filled some trays. I'll show you how we fill trays. Our dirt mix is about half of a commercial bark-based mix, and the other half is a local compost, which is a pretty good product, and it is far cheaper than the bag mix. Fill the tray, just level full. These trays have plastic dividers in them, so I just use a short block that will go between the dividers and just gently pack the soil. Wouldn't have to do this, it just makes, I think, better looking seed bed, easier to see what we're doing. And there's the trays. We're going to do 2 trays of, it's going to be a red salad bowl lettuce, and it's going to be an escarole, endive escarole, black seeded Simpson lettuce, and when we're finished I'm going to scatter a little bit of Bloomsdale spinach over the top. Now the way we like to plant small seeds is use white sand, sandblasting sand. You can pick it up at most of your Rural Kings and those sort of places, farm supplies. And we use a spice shaker. I've got all the holes but a couple taped closed, and we just take the small seed, which is dark in color most of the time, dump it in, shake it up to mix it, and then we just scatter it across the trays. That was maybe a little too much sand. We do this in the greenhouse in the spring with a lot of the small seed that we deal with, alyssum, rose moss, that sort of thing, that we can just mix the seed with the sand and spread it. So those 2 trays are planted with lettuce. We'll put a little spinach over the top. And these will probably all come up way too thick, and that's fine because all we're wanting is just baby greens to eat, so we'll not let any of this stuff get too awfully big. I do have some trays of already planted stuff that we've done a couple of cuttings off of, and we are almost finished with those. They've been harvested enough. So at the end of the video I will show you around a little bit. These just now need a light cover. And that should do it on the lettuces. And then we're going to do 2 trays of collards and mustard and Paris Island lettuce. And we're going to do those the same way. Put a little bit of white sand in the shaker. And I have the seed already divided or mixed up here. So we'll dump the seed in. Give it a little shake to mix it up. And that's that. Just simply cover it. Actually, what I think I'll do, I've got got a bunch of kale seed here that is saved seed, and I think I'll just go back in with the collards and the mustard and the Paris Island lettuce, and I will add a little bit of this kale. We're not wanting it to get big, just going to eat it as a real small green. So just scatter a little across the top. Get a little bit of cover over this. It'll take this a while to come up here in the greenhouse. In the daytime, sunny days, temperature gets pretty hot in here, but we're only running a furnace at about 40 degrees at night until we get to where we're going to start spring production, which will be around the 1st of February. Then we'll pop nighttime temperatures up into the, probably around 60, and we'll have a germination table going with bottom heat. So these will probably be pretty slow to start with. Okay, so there are those. I'm going to plant one tray of cherry bell radishes. So I'm sure I'll get those way too thick and have to come back and thin them. But they're big enough, I'm just going to take and sprinkle them on. And these seed packets I'm using, about 3 years ago probably, Rural King had a grocery cart about 2/3 full of spring garden seed, and I bought it for $20. There were 1,700 and some packages of various seed. So I tend to plant this stuff a little thick because it's starting to get a little age on the seed, and I don't know what the germination rates really ought to be. The next thing we're going to plant is some onion sets. As some of you know, Jamie and I spent a few days with Danny and Wanda at Deep South this week, and at their little local feed store they had onion sets, which in this part of the country, fall onion sets are fairly hard to find. So I picked up some onion sets, so we'll get them planted. I'm just going to plant a few. I picked up a couple pounds. I'm going to plant maybe 3 of these old hanging baskets full, and that way we'll have some fresh green onions, and once these get going I'll plant some more, and that should carry us on through till spring. And we'll plant these fairly close, fairly tight, and we can start using them when they're small. And just going in circles around the pot. And you can do this any way you want to. I generally prefer to use a deeper pot on the onions. The radishes I think will be fine in these trays that are 3 inches or so tall. And that'll give these guys a little more room to root down. So basically, there's what I'm doing on those. Just filling it up cover on them. Go ahead and finish up the third pot of onions. Get the cover on them. And I've got all of my trays tagged. Just these little white tags. Took a paint marker and wrote on them. So move the seed out of the way. I'll plug the water pump in and give these a good mist using a 2 gallon a minute mist nozzle. Soil is pretty moist anyway that I planted in, so it shouldn't take too much. And that should do it. So now I'll take you around and show you the lettuce that we have growing now and a few other things. Don't mind the place, it's a bit of a mess. We're in the middle of construction. As you can see through the doorway here, we've got new area here, which will all be the work area that this bench and water tanks and everything will go out there. And then we have an add-on out front that we're working on also. So we're kind of in a mess with all the construction. So here's the lettuce that was planted earlier this fall. We did harvest some of that last week and took down to Danny and Wanda's at Deep South. But it's getting towards the end of its usefulness, so it's time to get some more going. And we have some tomato plants that are just about on their last leg. Still got a few green tomatoes, and we do get a ripe one once in a while. There are a couple there that will be good in a salad. The plants look terrible. We grew them in here all summer this summer as an experiment, trying to do greenhouse tomatoes. And I think we'll do some more inside tomatoes next year. This is Mark from Red Duchess Farm. If you like what you see, want to follow us on our journey, click that like button and subscribe button and come and join us. Thanks for watching.